To our second annual middle school orchestra concert of the springtime. And without further ado, we're going to turn it over to the combined orchestras, sixth grade orchestras, and Mrs. Becky Bush.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being here tonight. And the sixth graders are going to start off with a little tribute to our country and to the soldiers that are all over the world right now. So if you would like to, you may join in on the second time through. There will be a few singers that will lead you, and feel free to join in singing with us. Thanks. Before we do our next tune for you, which I'm sure you will recognize, I'd just like to fill you in a little bit. This year has been an outstanding year for the middle school orchestras. We've had 120 students in orchestra, which is just really awesome for the second year. And I'm really excited for next year. We have about 50 to 60 students coming in as new sixth graders, and almost all of our students are returning for next year. So that is terrific. We also have a lot of students taking summer lessons and going to summer orchestra camp. And I just talked to the director from the junior high camp, and there's still actually a few spots they have left. So if your student is still interested in going to summer orchestra camp, the opportunity is still available. Our next tune, I'm sure you'll recognize, is Star Wars. We'd like to take a minute to do one thing. Most parents, I think, from Riley Street Middle School know that our beloved principal is not going to be serving as principal next year, and he's going to be doing another role in the district. So we'd like to honor him a little bit. So Mr. K, can you come on up real quick? Mr. K has done a fabulous job as principal for many, many years, and I especially appreciate his leadership as a new teacher. It's just been wonderful the past 2 years to learn, and the students have a little something for you in appreciation. And Stephanie, go ahead and come on out. We really wanted to do this because Mr. K has been just a wonderful support, as the orchestra program has been a new program the last 2 years. So.
I'm a real klutz at opening thing. My wife's family all saves paper. I never got into that. Oh, boy, excellent. Some CDs, The Best of Fiddle Fever. Harvest Home, music for all seasons. So thank you all very much. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Those CDs are both some traditional American folk music, and the sixth graders are going to now play an American folk tune called Flap-Eared Mule. And if you don't know, Mr. K plays a variety of instruments, one of which is hammer dulcimer. And I'm pleased to announce that the 7th and 8th grade fiddle club has been accepted to perform at Festival June 8th in downtown Grand Rapids. So if you are free that weekend, it's the weekend right after school gets out, Sunday at 12:30, they'll be performing at the Circle Stage, and you can hear a little hammer dulcimer probably on that Sunday. So without any further ado, Flap-Eared Mule. The 7th and 8th grade combined orchestra is going to start with La Renaissance, which is by Handel. And we've worked through lots of different types of music this year. And this piece is from the Baroque era, which means you'll hear a lot of staccato playing, which means you'll hear a lot of short playing. And that's typical of the Baroque period. And this was originally written in celebration of a peace treaty that was signed. And there were fireworks, and this was supposed to be played during the fireworks. And they did get to play this at that event. However, the fireworks were rained out. So, but the piece was a huge success, so we hope you like it. Before we play our next tune, I'd like to honor a few students. And in 7th and 8th grade, there are a lot of extra opportunities. And the first one is Solo and Ensemble. And that is where the students can go and they can either play a solo or a duet or other types of ensembles for a judge. And they get rated and lots of comments for helpful ideas. And this year we had a lot of students go, and they all did very, very well. So anyone that participated in Solo and Ensemble, go ahead and please stand up. And can we have a round of applause for them? I'd also like to honor the students that were in Fiddle Club. And Fiddle Club is a group that met during extended opportunities once a week. And we've performed several different places. We performed at Sheldon Meadows Living Center, at Patmos Library, and we did our own concert, and then we'll be performing at Festival. So anyone in Fiddle Club, please go ahead and stand up. We also had one student this year play in St. Cecilia Youth Orchestra, which is a youth orchestra in Grand Rapids, and you have to audition for it, and it's a great opportunity. It's pretty much all of the top players in the whole Grand Rapids area come to play in this orchestra, and it's a big honor and a lot of fun to play in. So, Eric, can you go ahead and stand up? I'd also like to take a minute to thank our volunteers. We had lots of chaperones when we went to District Festival, and we've also had lots of parents volunteer to get the basses here and all kinds of driving. And so can we have a quick round of applause for our volunteers this year? Thank you. Our next tune we're going to do is Terra Nova, and this is a contemporary tune. This is from the contemporary era, which literally means it's written by a composer that's not dead yet. Now, we actually use the contemporary word to mean anything in the last century that was written. So this was actually written about 2 years ago by a great composer for middle school orchestra, Richard Meyer. orchestra, we try to do lots of different types of music, and you've heard some fiddle music and contemporary and classical, and now we'd like to do a pop tune. We kind of voted on a tune that they would recognize from pop culture. It's really good for them to play things they know by ear, and often pop music actually has very hard rhythms that we don't often see as commonly in classical music. So you'll hear some of those. I think you'll recognize the tune, and I think you might want to watch out for a special guest on this tune. Before we do our last tune for you, I'd like to introduce the tune. And hi, guys.
Ms. Bush, we just want to thank you for a great year.
You're welcome. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That was very nice, you guys. It's easy to have a great year when you're in Hudsonville, and I'll just take this time to say again, I just love being here in Hudsonville. It's a wonderful community, and I'd just like to thank you, parents, and you guys, and all the administration. I see Mr. McDowell here tonight, and Mr. Powers, and Pink Panther. You figured out who that was. This is really, truly a wonderful place to be, and I just feel very blessed to be here, so thank you. Let's see. I forgot what I was going to say. Got distracted. The 8th grade orchestra, or this year's 7th grade orchestra, next year's 8th grade orchestra, has been invited to perform at the Midwest Clinic, which is an annual music conference in Ann Arbor. And so we will be traveling in January down to this conference. It's a very prestigious thing to be asked to play at. We're actually going to be playing as part of a workshop. My dad's doing a clinic on jazz. And we've actually done a lot of jazz. We did a tune last year with these guys, and we're going to perform a tune for you right now called "De Blues." But a lot of string programs don't include jazz or fiddle music or really anything else besides classical music in their programs. So this clinic will be to kind of teach other teachers how to teach jazz. And these guys are going to be the demo group, and they're going to perform, and also we'll show them kind of how we've taught them jazz. So that is a huge honor we're looking forward to next year. And we're going to go ahead and play for you our jazz tune. 6th graders, why don't you go ahead and start coming up. 7th and 8th graders, move your stands and chairs. Okay? We're going to have a minute of organized chaos. So we're going to do a jazz tune for you. And these guys have actually learned. Can you hear me while they're doing that? Okay. I'll keep talking then. We've done some improv this year, which means making up your own solos, and they have all done an improv on at least a 1-measure solo. And we're going to continue that next year so that they can actually do 4 bars or even a whole 12-bar solo of improv, and they've had a good time doing that. Tonight, we're just going to show you the tune, and then next fall, you'll get to hear some improv from them. We also have a guest soloist tonight. Mr. Dave Powers happens to be, is the Baldwin Street Middle School principal, and he happens to be a wonderful jazz musician. So he's going to play some saxophone with us as we get ready to play this tune. So, Mr. Powers. I forgot to introduce a few other musicians to you. Blake Hogel is going to be on drum set, Kelsey Skilling on piano, and that was Sarah Hall on the Pink Panther on piano. All right, we worked on moving and having fun while we're playing and actually looking like we're having fun. So you should see them smile, tap their toes. Feel free to tap your toes with us. Thank you, Mr. Powers. A few announcements before we're done. There is a reception. Thank you for bringing things for that. And if we could have any parents that are willing to help us get some chairs stacked, they just need to head back to the band and choir room and stands, that would be wonderful. Thank you so much for coming, and have a great summer.
If you want to stay informed of what's happening in your community, then your Grand Valley Advance newspaper is what you've been looking for. This weekly newspaper is packed full of area news stories, sports, syndicated columns, recipes, classified ads, announcements, display advertisements, coupons, and of course, garage sales in the community. Your courteous delivery person cheerfully brings your Grand Valley newspaper every Tuesday, and WCET would like to thank the Grand Valley Advance for their support through the years. The Grand Valley Advance is your weekly community newspaper.
Hi, I'm Larry Treese, President of Healthcare Associates and Community Caregivers. Many of you recognize me with my cowboy hat on. When I'm not coaching, I'm wearing another hat, and that's the healthcare hat. We provide help at home. Finding help at home can be very difficult these days. That's why you need to call Healthcare Associates and Community Caregivers to find help at home.
Healthcare Associates is a proud sponsor of WCET-TV.